Welcome to my channel. Today I will share with you a true story about neighbors that you can't see. I have lived in my home for almost 8 years. We love this place. It has a nice backyard and a large living room where we watch movies with the whole family. And also there are good people around here. Our neighbors always say hello when they pass by our house. Overall, we have no complaints. However, this changes dramatically during the winter. Now everything is fine until the first snow falls. The first snow always comes as a surprise. No one knows when it will fall, but suddenly the white blanket covers all the trees and roofs in the area. This happened just last year. The next day after the snowfall, our neighbors cleared the snow from their yards, but they don't do anything else. Then they go to work and return in the evening. After seeing their yard clean, we assume they go to their jobs and leave. They usually come back around 6 p.m. But one day, they didn't return home. I thought they were at a party or something like that. They were probably celebrating New Year. That's why they didn't answer the phone. So I decided not to bother them. In general, I like these people. Their son is friends with my daughter. They sometimes play together after school. The kids are very happy with such a friend. I was even surprised when they didn't show up at the New Year celebration party organized by our community. We waved at them. We couldn't reach them by phone. Maybe something really important happened. I thought they would call us back if anything went wrong. But nope. 3 weeks passed and the neighbors still didn't return. I started to get scared, because it's not normal for them not to answer calls. They must have gone somewhere for the holidays. I thought it was strange that they hadn't cleaned up the snow outside. But then I stopped thinking about it. Then we heard rumors from other neighbors. Some said that they had seen police cars near their house. Others said they had seen an ambulance. What did it mean? What happened to our neighbors? Were they sick or worse? After 3 weeks, 2 police officers came to our door. They asked if we knew something about the neighbors. I told the police officers that we had unseen them for about 3 weeks, and that was strange. They thanked me for the info and left. From that moment on, I couldn't calm down. I called the police every few days and asked what was going on. I wanted to know if they had found the neighbors. They kept telling me they were doing everything they could and asked me to wait. But I couldn't wait. I couldn't calm down. I started looking for them myself. I found their car in the garage, and it was full of things. Someone had packed bags for a long trip. I also saw some toys on the floor, a book, and a glass of milk on the table. It seemed as if they had just left the house and would be back any minute. But that was just an illusion. They never returned. It's been 6 months since our neighbors disappeared. Their house looks terrible. Snow has melted, and now dirty slush flows down the walls. Grass grows through cracks in the sidewalk, and weeds grow under the windows. It seems like the owners don't care about their house or garden anymore. The police still haven't found the missing neighbors. They told us they were investigating the case, but no results yet. We live in a quiet town. Nothing like this has ever happened before. We are all worried about them and hope they'll be okay. One day I decided to take matters into my own hands. I wrote a letter to the neighbor and put it in his mailbox. Of course, I got no reply. Then I decided to look into their house. Maybe they left some clues there, some details that could help us find them. When I opened the front door, I noticed that someone had been there before me. An outsider had broken the lock. I wondered who it could be. Was it the police? Had they finally found a clue that could lead to the neighbors? Or maybe someone else had entered the house. But why? I went from room to room, checking everything. In the kitchen, I found some documents lying on the table. I picked them up and started reading. To my surprise, it was a pile of bills and a mortgage agreement. I found nothing else interesting. I checked the rooms upstairs, but they were empty. I checked the basement too, but I didn't find anything useful there either. Just a lot of old stuff. As I was leaving the house, I noticed that the back door was slightly open. It looked as if someone had recently been there. The police had obviously been here, but they hadn't been able to find anything. I felt sorry for them. Then I thought I should probably leave them alone so they could continue their investigation. As I closed the door behind me, I heard a voice. At first, I thought I was imagining things. I stopped and listened. A voice said again, and I realized I wasn't mistaken. I was so scared I started to scream and run away. The voice laughed and said, "Don't be afraid. I won't hurt you." I ran out into the street, didn't know where I was going. When I finally slowed down, I realized that I was at my neighbor's house. Cautiously, I approached the house and knocked on the door. The voice said, "Come in," and I did. I found a young man inside. He looked at me and smiled. "Can I help you?" he asked. It turned out that the missing neighbors had a son. He had recently graduated from university and moved to another city. His parents often went on business trips and hardly ever paid attention to him, so they didn't even notice that he had left. The young man said he had visited his parents a few times, but they weren't home. When he found out that the police were looking for them, he got scared. He thought they had found drugs in the house or maybe weapons. But it turned out that the police were looking for them because they had simply disappeared. The young man said he had no idea where his parents were. He suggested calling the police again. We dialed the number, and soon the house was surrounded by police cars. "I think the neighbors are in trouble." Later, I learned that they had taken loans from different banks, and now none of them wanted to give them money. The neighbors had to sell their house, but they didn't want their son to find out about their financial problems. That's why they hid from him and probably thought they could solve their issues quickly. Now the house is empty. There are no more people living in it. I feel sorry for them. They seem like good people. I hope this story will teach you to pay more attention to your family, especially your children. No matter how old they are, they will always need your love and support. And don't take loans from different banks because you may end up losing everything. Did you like the story? Write your reviews. Bye.